What is going on, my beautiful people? This is Certified Life and Relationship Coach, Coach Court. In today's video, this was by request from a lot of different subscribers. Is the grass greener for the fearful avoidant? But before I get into the content, I have just started my very first Patreon account. If you guys are interested in joining that membership, it's a way that we can connect outside of the realm of the tubes. And, if anything ever happened to my channel, you guys will have me there as a different outlet to kind of, bounce ideas off of, ask me questions, get coaching. There are 3 tiers to the program, 5, 10, and 25. 25, you guys already know, is the Harvest membership. You get me one-on-one. $10, you get every month, you get email response by yours truly. And we get to build this community outside of the realm of the tubes, like I talked about before. It's good to see you guys. I appreciate you being here. I got a review today. Somebody messaged me on Instagram saying that they got my book. They read the book. They had highlights. They went through it. I guess they're like a social worker. And they said that they really like my book. So if you guys are interested in that link is in the description below. Appreciate you guys. So let's get down to it. Before I get in, I want to see who's all in here. Like the feed, give me a thumbs up. Put a 1 in here if you're in here and you're ready for action. I'm gonna give it another minute. Hope you guys had a good weekend. It's Monday here in the States, 8 o'clock at night. So if you guys are catching this feed in the morning time over in the UK or somewhere, this is what we're dealing with over here. I've been doing a lot more late night live sessions. It tends to get the most engagement, which has been helpful for people who aren't able to make it throughout the day because they're working. And I just appreciate you guys. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to have you here. So let's get down to it. In today's video, we're going to talk about whether or not the grass is greener for the fearful avoidant. And if you guys are watching me for the very first time, the fearful avoidant is a certain type of attachment style in romantic relationships. So there are 4 types of attachment styles. You have the secure, the dismissive, the anxious, and the fearful avoidant. Now, the fearful avoidant, aka FA, are the ones who are kind of a hybrid between the anxious, preoccupied person and the dismissive, avoidant person. So the fearful avoidant person has the activating and the deactivating of both styles combined, which makes them look very ambivalent, makes them look almost in a sense kind of bipolar in a relationship because they don't know if they're coming or going. They from working with so many of them, they get in their head so much that they are not able to be authentically present in a relationship. They're constantly thinking about they're really good at picking up on vibes and then actually pretty bad at it too, because sometimes they would interpret something that isn't the way that it actually is. And instead of asking the question, asking, hey, is this what's actually going on in the relationship? They kind of make the assumption that, hey, I'm going to form this conclusion on my own. And the main reason that it's like that is because the fearful avoidant has had so much complex trauma. Now, I'm not a therapist, all right? This is just what I learned from people who reach out to me and they identify themselves as fearful avoidance. They have so much complex trauma within their life, so many different levels of trauma that in a romantic relationship, they have a hard time trusting. They have the fear of being abandoned, the fear of being rejected, the fear of being vulnerable. They have all of that all balled up into one. And this is just kind of like a combination of the other unhealthy or insecure attachment styles. Hey, it's good to see everybody. Put it a 1 in the chat. Say hello. So the fearful avoidant, when it comes to getting into relationships, they may always feel as if the grass is greener because they tend to get into relationships that they know is unhealthy. They know that it's easy to leave. They know that they're definitely not boring experiences. They may get into a relationship with people who, maybe the bad boys, the guys or the girls who get into trouble a lot, the at-risk youth, somebody that's already taken, they may cheat with people. And if those relationships feel safe to them, and if they've had a childhood that was very unstable and very toxic, those things were set into their subconscious mind, and they see it as normal. They see it as like, all right, this kind of feels familiar to me. I'm not going to throw this up. So let me know if you guys are okay with me throwing up the question onto the screen. I did a poll asking people if they like the new format, and I think about 80% said yes, 20% said no. And I think the main reason why is because I throw these questions up to kind of give you guys the spotlight. But if that's something that you don't want to do, as far as like replays and other people seeing what you've been up to here in Coach Court's lives, I can respect that. Hey, Coach, my FA struggles a lot with forgiving me for not meeting his needs in a relationship. I don't know what will make this change. Time. You're going to have to give him time, and he's going to have to be able to feel emotionally safe in this relationship again. If you're trying to get him back, if you're trying to rekindle things, reconcile, you're going to have to be able to make him feel safe again in a relationship. So here's the thing. Society makes us think that men should be able to handle their emotions, be able to bury their emotions, and not, complain about things or, show any type of feminine qualities, or what society would deem as feminine qualities. But that's not true. Like, men need to feel safe, heard, and understood in relationships too. Even if he's a fearful avoidant, he still wants to hear that. He still wants to know that you can have hold this space for him in a relationship. Privacy, please. Yeah, I'm not going to throw it up. I got you. Hi, I love your content. My ex is fearful and he dismissed me, saying he's chatting with someone else and he wants to change and make it work with her. Deactivating or looking for greener pastures. It definitely looked like he's looking for greener pastures. I don't know if he's met if he was with this person before, or if this is somebody that's new in his life, but he's definitely looking for greener pastures. And you actually got to give him credit for being honest and upfront with you about that, because not a lot of people will do that. Not a lot of people will be that transparent and let you know, hey, this is what I got going on. I'm entertaining other options, and it looks like this other option is going to be somebody that's I can stick with, that I see a future with. So you actually got to give him props for being able to be that transparent and honest about it. That's a quality that isn't something that is common nowadays. Appreciate you, Deputy. What's up, Sabrina? Teacher Paulo, I appreciate you giving me the compliment. I hope that helped you. Which attachment style is likely to jump into another relationship? I guess for different reasons. All the insecure ones: fearful, dismissive, and anxious. If an anxious attacher felt like their needs wasn't being met in a relationship, and they've consistently expressed that to you, then they're going to be the ones that's also going to, entertain something else and pull out on you when they're not feeling it, if that makes sense. But usually they're not able to carry those same feelings for you over into the next relationship. They're the ones that's least likely. Those rebound relationships, they always fail with an anxious, preoccupied person, because they're not able to recreate that same level of bond and attachment that they did with you. Attachment doesn't come very easily. Attachment happens every once or twice a decade. Maybe you'll get twice a decade, but it's like this. One of my quotes, my favorite quotes, is you don't meet your best friend every day. It doesn't work that way. You don't meet the person that you consider your best friend every day. So once you pick that person, it's hard for you to be able to form another bond with another person, or it takes a long time for you to get that to kind of dissipate in your mind. My FA will ignore me for days since the breakup and then reach out and talk to me for hours, then go right back to ignoring me for a few days. She's just about to push me away for good. How can you save that is the question. Be transparent with her. Let her know that, hey, this is how I feel. This is how I feel. Now, this may not be the case. That's why it's important for you to always use I feel when you're going through something, when you're feeling some type of way. And try not to, because it takes the attackingness out of it. Like they'll put their walls up. If you say you never do this, you never do that, or you make me feel this way, don't do that. Say I feel when this happens, this is what's going on. I feel when you pull away from me, makes me nervous, makes me feel like, hey, you're about to get rid of me, and that's something that I feel safe to continue to stay in. Hello, my current boyfriend is an avoidant, breadcrumbs me and lashes out when I tell him how he makes me feel. I'm anxious attachment. When I express my feelings, he doesn't respond. Help, please. It's going to take a while. Listen, there are people who, thanks for the super chat, Sabrina. So attachment is something that developed very early on. And over time, it can either start to heal or it can get worse, depending on your experiences in relationships. If you have somebody that comes along, that's secure, that's able to make you feel safe, make you feel understood, heard, you can set good boundaries with you in a respectful way, and can communicate their needs in a respectful way, then that person is going to be able to help you become more secure yourself. But if you're not with somebody that's secure in their attachment style, it's only going to it's going to take the opposite effect. This is why most relationships out there have the avoidant and the anxious dynamic. You know, there are not a lot of secure relationships out there. And if you're dealing with somebody who isn't aware of his attachment style, who doesn't even care to look, crawl down that rabbit hole and figure out, hey, what it is I need to change about myself in order to make this relationship healthier, in order for me to show up better, then you have to really, really think about whether this person is the one for you. If this person is going to be somebody that you can go the distance with. And let's just be honest, most relationships fail. There's not a lot of relationships that go the distance these days. And most of the reason is because of the past traumas and the things that they've experienced in the past. And they're not able to show up consistently for a long term in a relationship. Hey, I appreciate you guys being here. I just started my Patreon account. If you guys want to join that, $5 get you exclusive content, private content, stuff outside of the realms of the YouTube. And I have the $10 membership, which you get one email from me every month for as long as you're a member. And the $25 membership, you get one-on-one coaching with me for 20 minutes every month. So go check that out. The Patreon account is there. I appreciate you guys. Sabrina, see, you could have took this $10 and threw it over on Patreon and got you an email response from me, but you live and you learn. I do appreciate the benefit, though. The donation, really do. It's sad, but Teacher Paulo, yes, thank you. It's sad, but I've always made him feel safe from what he's told me. I feel like time will be the thing we need to. He has been saying, I wish you were like this during our relationship. Makes me feel awful. It really does make you feel awful. I really encourage for you to go into a time frame of no contact. All right. And you're not doing this to punish him. You're doing this so you can gain more clarity on exactly what was going on in your relationship, because it really stings like, when you've made the changes to yourself, you've reached out to Coach Cordy, you've talked to Coach Cordy, you have gained the tools and the skills that you need to show up in a relationship better. But at the end of the day, they still say, it's just too late. Like that stings. That stings like the Dickens. I'm not gonna lie to you. That stings like a mug. And it makes it feel like everything that you're doing was for naught. But listen, that's not true either. You need to learn these things, all right? This is important for you to take into the next relationship, because here's what I learned. After you learn all this stuff, after you've buried yourself in personal development, you're either going to get that person back or you're going to get somebody better in the future. You're going to get somebody more compatible. You're going to be able to screen and vet people very much with more skills, with more tools in your arsenal. Because that's the problem. We don't vet people properly. We ignore a lot of the questions. I got that. Go check out my channel. I got 5 questions that you should ask on dates. And there was some negative comments coming back to me saying, why would you ask those questions on dates? Because you don't want to waste any of your time, right? You don't want to waste your time dealing with people that you know you're not going to be able to go the distance with. So now that you know these things about attachment styles, you know about your own personal struggles, you know your weaknesses, you know your triggers, it's important for you to use that stuff moving forward. Like that's a win. Most people reach out to me and I tell them are the ones that I know aren't going to be able to get their exes back. And I know that they just did too much. They really made the person feel terrible in a relationship. And I'm like, here's the good thing about this. We got to take away the positives. If you didn't have their relationship, that unhealthy of a relationship, the incompatibilities that you guys had, you wouldn't have went to the level of learning about attachment style, going through personal development, learn about meditation and healing the inner child and affirmations. You wouldn't have went down this journey if it wasn't for that person coming into your life and it being that type of toxic dynamic or unhealthy dynamic, whatever you want to call it, fill in the blank. Appreciate the super chat, Clay Days. Look at you. Join my Patreon. Hey, $5. Join my Patreon. My person always comes back when I think everything is okay. He don't like to communicate, but he always asks me to mutual friends. Usually when somebody's asking about you to mutual friends, that means they're not over you. They're still curious about your life. That's a good sign. But if he's fearful, how long will that feeling last before he starts to get ambivalent again and thinking about, your flaws all over again? We have the tendency to look back at the past with rose-colored glasses on. And if you guys don't know what that saying means, we see history better than what it actually was. We don't see the person for who they were. We see them for the good things that went on in the relationship. But the things that were bugaboos, the things you couldn't deal with, the things that were just toxic and unhealthy, we struggle to see those things when they're in hindsight, especially people who are anxious attachers, because we're always looking for the good in people. This is why a lot of anxious attachment people go into careers that are helping fields, that are nurturing fields, that are counselors, therapists, mentors, coaches. A lot of anxious attachers go into those fields because they have that emotional intelligence to be able to connect with people. And looking back, I lost my train of thoughts there. Sorry, something popped up. Looking back, you're still doing that. You're still seeing the person for nothing but the good inside of them. So the fearful avoidant, that's the topic of the day. The fearful avoidant, is the grass greener for them? No, it's not greener. They have so much ambivalence inside of them when it comes to having a healthy relationship. I work with a lot of fearful avoidance. I'm not going to lie. And honestly, a lot of them were women, fearful avoidance. They have severe trust issues from things that's happened to them in the past, from their childhood. They may have had issues with their father. They may have had issues with their mother, whoever, adopted mother, father. They really struggle to trust men in relationships because they're always, like one of them said, I work with one of them in Canada. She said, always looking for the other shoe to drop. I was like, oh, I never heard that saying before. But so it makes it really hard for them to stay in relationships and push through the tough times, because they always feel like, all right, I think I may be able to do better than this. And they also are the ones that can tend to monkey branch from somebody else. Somebody asked that earlier. They do have the tendencies to monkey branch and to line up another person. It doesn't make it right. This is just the way that they operate. line up another person because they feel like they can do better. The FOBO, the fear of a better option. I forgot which coach said that, but it's true. What's up, Paris? Doing very well, very well. Thank you for being here. Every time I try to no contact, she reaches out in about 3 days, and I've heard that it's not the best idea to ignore them when they reach out. No, as out of everybody, all attachment styles, the fearful avoidant, fear of rejection is one of their biggest core wounds. They don't like being rejected at all. So it would be good for you to respond. I say do it. Make sure that you don't ignore her. But when you re-engage with her, you have to make sure that you're able to advocate for yourself and talk about what you need going forward in a relationship. If she wants to revisit the thing, if she wants to have another relationship, make sure that she knows that this is how it's going to we're going to operate from here on out. Because if you can't meet these needs, these basic needs, things that are non-negotiables for me, then I'm not going to waste any more of my time. And I'm not going to waste any more of your time trying to build something here, because clearly we're not seeing eye to eye, and we're not able to make this thing go the distance. Hey, Anita. Yeah, you made it. Random live sessions. You know how I do. So, any more questions? I'll turn it open for you. You guys hear my daughters in the background. I apologize. They like to be rambunctious when I'm on my live sessions. Clearly, if you guys have been any more of my live sessions, you know how it goes in the background. I don't know how to do no contact with him. Last time he reached out to me and told me he was very upset because he felt like he was reaching out first, just like he's scared of rejection. Okay, so if you're going no contact with him, like, you don't have to just like do straight up no contact. Let him know what's going on. Let him know, hey, this breakup has been tough for me. I'm not able to engage you in a manner, in a way that we've been doing thus far. We broke up X amount of time ago, and I really feel like this is hindering my healing. It's nothing personal to you. I feel like this is just something that I need to do personally in order to get through this period. And later on down the line, we can be friends. I can re-engage with you. I'm not promising you that, but I feel as if I can be friends with you later on down the line. So I feel like that'll be the healthiest way to communicate that with him. But at the same time, he doesn't get his cake and eat. He doesn't get to get his cake and eat it too. He has to be able to respect that and can't keep you on the bench and on the sideline. Because if I remember your story correctly, like, you moved out, like you guys aren't even living together anymore. You have to make sure that you're able to set those boundaries in place for yourself. If that makes sense. Hope that helped. Any more questions? I'm still here. While I'm still here. Like I said, I appreciate you guys being here, always being patient. Put a 1 in the chat. If you guys feel like this is a valuable session, put a 1 in the chat. Kind of lets YouTube know, hey, this is valuable content. This is somebody that people should come listen to. I appreciate that. I won't answer this next question until we get the 1s in the chat, all right? Let's, what do you call it? Raise the roof. Let's raise the roof. Let's raise the roof. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Let's get some people in here. Don't forget to like the feed too. Don't forget to like the feed. Appreciate it. All right. Next question. My ex-avoidant was his birthday last 16th August and didn't say anything. We are in no contact for 5 weeks. He dumped me because I caught him talking often with a high school friend. You think that was a good idea? Listen, yeah, you teach people how to treat you. I don't care what your attachment style is, but the instant that you allow certain behaviors, that's when they're going to start, pushing the envelope a little bit more. I'm not saying everybody, but from what I've seen as a general rule, that is how it happens. You teach people how to treat you. And if he's just texting, which is a form of deactivating, if you guys were in a long-term relationship, that's a form of him kind of putting a little space in between you guys, so he's not completely hooked on you. I think he's going to have to be the one to break no contact with you. And honestly, let's think about this though. If 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 you catch somebody cheating, or they're doing, because if you ask me, that's emotional cheating. If you catch somebody cheating and their first reaction to them cheating or doing something that they know is not okay, they know that they wouldn't allow if the shoe was on the other foot, and their first reaction was to break up with you, I mean, I don't want to throw the N word out, the narc word out there, but you kind of like scarred them. That's a red flag. You got it, Anita. Sorry to clarify. I am anxious, working on becoming secure, and my ex is avoided. Yeah, okay. Good for you. It's hard work. It's tough work, becoming more secure. I mean, it's something that's going to always be there. It's going to always be in the background. It's going to always be lurking, because change isn't easy for a lot of people. Becoming the best version of yourself, it's hard work. It's not something that's fun. Nobody wants to go to therapy for years. Nobody wants to talk about, the things that happened in their childhood. So most of the time, we just want to like lock those thoughts away and throw away the key. Not a lot of people want to do that. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people that won't take too kindly of you addressing those issues. I was on a call with a client today. And he was talking about how he addressed, he pulled something out, he addressed an issue that he had with a person, and that person didn't respond too kindly. Actually got offended, felt criticized. And, I thought that was a red flag, because I just posted a quote on Instagram. I am Coach Court. If you guys haven't been on my Instagram, that says, a healthy relationship is a nonstop conversation. All right. The instant that you feel like you have to muzzle yourself, you have to walk on eggshells, and you can't speak the things that are authentically on your mind, and you can't be genuine with them without there being some type of consequences and like on the movie Life, gonna be some consequences and repercussions around here. Without there being some consequences and repercussions, then you have to really question if this person is for you. Because everything can be all great, moving through the dating phase, the honeymoon phase. But then when the power struggle phase comes along and you guys are trying to find your footing, who's going to be the person wearing the pants around there, I guess, if you could put it that way. It's kind of like that. But, people trying to take space for themselves and assert their dominance and take their, make sure that they maintain their independence. When you get in that phase, they're not able to sit through the storm with you, then you really have to ask yourself, is this person going to be somebody you can go the distance with, in the relationship. Usually when I like to compare it to like an actual ship. If things get that way and one person decides to jump ship, then you're in there by yourself. You're manning the boat alone. And it sucks. Thanks, Paris. That is why, yes, we were together for more than a year. Well, I learned I learned good. You are the best counselor. Thank you. I'm just a coach. I'm not a counselor. I took a couple counseling courses, a couple social worker courses too. Um, I'm a sociologist, I would say, really certified relationship coach, but I'm not a counselor. I'm not a therapist, but I do appreciate that. I do consult. But I'm not a counselor. Do they really care though? I think they do. They care to the best of their ability. Like we all show the way that we love differently. You know, there's a whole reason for them coming out with the whole love languages and stuff. We all show love in a different manner. Um, the anxious people just show it in a different way. Like we're more overt. Like we like to we apply the five love languages, you know, with no remorse, you know, to a fault actually. Sorry, checking this message here. Do fearful avoidance. Oh, do fearful, dismissive, sensitive, and take more. Can you rephrase that question for me, Molly? Appreciate that. Great quote. Thanks, Paris. Appreciate you, ma'am. I'm starting therapy on Wednesday. I'm hoping that will refocus my mind on me again. So you have to do that work. But here's what I'm learning. I've worked with so many people that says that, you know, attachment styles isn't even something that is addressed in their therapy sessions. I'm talking people that's been in there for 5 years, 3 years. One person was had the same counselor for 7 years. And I said, I just want to make sure that you're not just spinning your wheels in these therapy sessions and you're getting the most out of it. Like, are you addressing the things that you need to address? Because after a while, it can become just routine, mundane, and just ritualistic. And you want to make sure that you continue to have those breakthroughs as often as possible. So, if you learn about a new term or something, ask your question. I actually had a guy that was learning about, it came to me, he was learning about narcissism and he was like, you know what? I think I might be a narcissist. So then he asked his therapist about it, like, hey, you look, you've known me for quite a while. I want you to tell me if you think I'm a narcissistic person. And, sure enough, like he fit the bill for narcissistic personality disorder pretty almost to the T. So that was like a breakthrough moment from him. It was hard for him to hear, and it made so much more sense as to why he had trouble relationships in the past. But that was a moment where he was like, wow, I'm glad I can actually move forward, and actually be mindful about some of the ways that I'm showing up. Now I have a degree in neuropsychology and a master's in couple therapy, and you are my teacher, so I really don't care about title. Wow, that's pretty dope. To me, you are the best counselor, coach, guide. I am so humbled. Anita Radcliffe. Anita, join my Patreon, all right? If you're a YouTube member, Patreon is going to be a little bit more intimate environment where we can actually talk. Because it gets hard. Keeping up with these comments on the videos, it's just a wash. And I have over 250, 270 videos, and trying to maintain all those comments and stuff, it's difficult. So I appreciate that. I really do. I'm humbled. I found that fearful avoidance tend to be sensitive to the way communication is presented. Absolutely. That's why I talked about I feel. And sometimes that doesn't even work because they'll still skip past that and like, oh, what are you trying to say? Are you trying to tell me this or that? So even that might not work, but that's going to give you your best chance of having a productive conversation where the person doesn't put the walls up right away or the boxing gloves. They don't feel attacked and they don't feel as if you're trying to criticize them. So that's your best route about going about that. I think I might be getting a little bit of cold. It's really humid here where I live. But I don't know. I think I might be getting a summer cold. Possibly. I found that FAs tend to be sensitive to the way communication is presented. We already read that one. Is that their style? Yes, that's their style. I'm trying. I am trying to take care of myself. Still working out like crazy and just studying. I appreciate you guys. I have moved out for a week now. Hey, Elisa. I've moved out for a week now. He was completely distant for 3 weeks before I left. On the day I left, he texted me and stated it was hard to see all the moving everywhere and apologize. Confusing. I so is this person an avoidant? I can personally vouch for that. That sometimes people they think they want something, but when it actually happens, they struggle to see the end results of what they actually wanted. Meaning, they may think the grass is greener, and because you guys were so like triggered into your styles while you were living there, to see you actually move, it made it that much more final for him, and that much more real um, in his world. Come to Dallas is hot. It's hot here too, but it's I live a block away from the lake, and it gets extremely humid. I kind of got a lake house where I'm living at. It's like a lake house, sand always everywhere on the floor, and um, super humid, super damp. So I think that might be the issue. I found out 4 months ago she had the affair for a year. Ugh, that stings. Now, this makes me think about something I said to one of my coaching clients recently, just yesterday, actually. It sucks because when you're with somebody for so long and you think you know everything about that person, this is why I told him yesterday, I said, you know what? One of the biggest mistakes that we can make in life is to put something past someone. You know, people are going to change. Everybody's going to grow in different directions. And if you're not conscious about growing in the same direction and try to keep mutual interest and all that other good stuff that, people talk about works in relationships, things like that will happen. I would never put anything past anyone. All right. And it doesn't, and it's just the reason I say that, not because I'm an anxious person and I struggle with trust issues, partially why, but it's a healthy degree. It's to a healthy degree. I would much rather for you to be cautious and have your eyes open than to be completely blindsided. Because there are so many guys that I talk to. They're like, yeah, no, I don't think that's the case. I don't think that could be something that she's up to. We've been together for 5 years. We've been together for 10 years. There's no way she's had somebody else. And I just let them know, like, all right, the fact, I don't want you to completely remove that possibility from your mind, because the minute that you find out this is actually true, you're going to be devastated. And I would much rather for you to be prepared for this and see this as an actual option than to be completely blindsided 4 months later after she had the affair. I mean, that's a long time to be having an affair. Are there any defining characteristics or examples of how you can tell a FA from the DA? The DAs, when they deactivate, you usually have to lure them back in. The FAs, they will do things where they'll activate on you. Like they'll post a little quote. They might post some on Instagram. They're the ones that take the risk to be rejected. DAs, for the most part, they don't take the risk. Like if you're going to cut me off, if we're not talking, if we're broken up, I'm just going to repress it. The FAs can't repress for that long. They're just like anxious people. They deactivate hard, but they tend to activate and come back towards your direction, try to build that closeness with you again, quicker than the dismissives. The dismissives I have seen do it, but they're very stubborn with the way that they do it. And you also got to think about the different degrees of trauma. And this isn't like law, but you have to think about the different degrees of trauma that the people have been through. The dismissives, they usually have to grow up before they wanted to. They had to be the person around the house that, was the emotional support, had to take care of the younger siblings, had to make good grades and all the other good stuff. And it's a bunch of other different characteristics that goes along with it. But the fearful avoidants are the ones that they're kind of all over the place, if I'm being honest. I got a ton of videos. I have a video actually I posted, the differences between a fearful and a dismissive avoidant. It's in my collection if you want to go check it out. I feel like my FA-X does feel the grass is greener. He broke up with me because he felt neglected by me. He's known for a while, known to get it after every breakup. Yeah, see, I talked about that. They do think the grass is greener, but it's not. It really isn't, because he's still texting you. Case in point. Following you everywhere, all your pages. I'm afraid you will put a restriction or restraining order on. Anita, it's all good. Don't worry about it. I am here to help you in your need, because I wish I had somebody here to help me when I was in need. Don't worry about it. Divine serendipity. That's funny. I'll follow you back. All right. I'm going to end this live session tonight. I appreciate you guys coming up on 45 minutes. You're welcome for the explanation, Lisa. Appreciate you being here again. As an FA, every time I have a heart-to-heart conversation, at first I feel relieved and anxiety kick in, and I think that my partner would think I'm weak. Yeah, they're like, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have over disclosed. Yeah, and then you get in your head. One thing I learned about the fearful avoidance is you guys live in your head. You make up a lot of different scenarios that usually aren't true. Read above that comment. Eric. All right. All right, my people. See you guys later. Appreciate it. Bimmer, you got it. Have a good night. If you guys are interested in my Patreon, like I said, $5. Get you exclusive content. Stuff you won't get here on the YouTubes, because they're really restricting things here, and it's okay. It's their platform. I'm blessed to be able to have pushing 6,000 subscribers. So I appreciate them allowing me to do that. I appreciate you guys for allowing me to get here. And let's keep it pushing. Let's keep healing. Let's keep loving. Let's keep understanding and giving people the benefit of the doubt. Love you guys. Namaste. God bless. Peace.